All our races are ready.
Now,
And here we go. It seems. Sorry?
Go ahead. No, go right ahead.
It seems like we have our first one go in. But, oh yeah, and nice overworld palette. Nice to look at. Sometimes you can get some weird palettes, but I think that the way that they're doing it is it's just hues. So hue is mean, essentially. Oh wow, this is gonna be hard for them to. Because he doesn't have a timer, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to sync these guys up.
That's all right. We'll make it work.
Yeah. So I think that they aren't just randomizing colors. I think they're setting hues on, which is a bit different. So if there's like different ways that you can randomize it. Oh, Furaime doing my favorite strat. This is how I like to do my opening, which is I've been doing this opening that Furaime's doing right now. It's like really, really consistent, especially in modes that remove rupees from the pool or make it harder to find rupees. This is not one of those, but
the Houlihan strat. Yes. So, yeah. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Houlihan room, there are 255 rupees that you can get out of this room right here. Now, you have to trigger it, and there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You basically have to trick the game into not knowing where to put you, so it puts you in this room. And when you exit Link's house, like we're seeing right here. A very good source of money, just like Zelna said, especially in a mode where rupees have been more or less removed from the pool. You still need money to accomplish what you need to do, so this gives you a nice little edge to start off with.
It's really, really good in Triforce, where you actually you'd be surprised at how far all the 20 rupee drops can actually end up going when they're gone. You don't really notice it till they're gone. Also, that was a lot of health on that skull head. Oh, run away! Those guys are scary.
Looks like Glan.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Glan giving us a check on this tree pull. Looks like we get 20 rupees out of that, so a little bit of money for him to start.
So interesting that Furaime only has one bomb. I guess because they're gonna buy bombs, but that's kind of. I actually go until I get 4 bombs from there. From Haunted Grove. That's my strat. Yes, it can take quite a bit sometimes, but I really do like the consistency of just having my bombs and having my money. So I really like the strat. It's been working out for me. That was a good trade though, getting 1 bomb for 3 bombs. I'll take it. There's a little bit of a time waste, but...
Now it looks like Aghanim Cave, or Lumberjack Cave rather, had blue cane on it, so not going to be an ag-required seed necessarily, although we still have to check a lot of in Sphere 0. So it could still be an ag seed, but not based off of that fine.
Well, we got some money in the forest, quite a bit actually, so Furaime, when they check the forest, should have enough for Houlihan. A lot of money that they found. Especially, like, if we find any other money in here, then we're going to be set. Here's a vanilla bottle. Some people are reporting 3 deaths already. I don't know where they went or what they found, but I think it's going to be the chicken hut.
We'll find out here in a little bit.
And here's the chicken hut. This is the best part of Enemizer. One of them. Yep. Guards for days.
Thankfully, though, at least a nice 4-bomb drop in there to give you something to work with.
He's trying to avoid them. Oh my. I expect him to die the moment he leaves. He's like, no, I don't want to do this. Oh, they didn't kill him. Only half a heart, blue guard. Okay. That's actually useful information. Keeping track of who's who in a seed like this can actually be pretty... Ooh, ether. I think we get Titans in Village. Maybe not? Why does Enemizer mess up the pallets? This is an option in Enemizer to mess around with pallets.
Furaime giving us a view of the bottom of the well here. Looks like the first chest is going to have a piece of heart.
Oh! Lots more money. Bombs. Nothing. Okay, more money. We got enough money for days. We got money for days in this seed.
Definitely not a bad problem to have in this kind of seed.
Well, problem is that Enemizer reduces like the power of fake flip because you die. You just end up dying. But at least this run can't have, like, anything that the last run had. That last run, oh boy.
I heard it was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Glan's just gotta pray that the red guard doesn't deal 3 hearts of damage. No, red guard just stayed there.
Again, we're seeing it play here, the power of being able to work dynamically in combat. So yes, this kind of matchup definitely favors somebody that can react quickly on their feet, because you never know what you're going to run into.
No, you could run in, especially in the invisible enemies are sometimes the worst.
Sick Kid giving us a little bit of love. That'll put Leslie up to 5 hearts. Definitely want to have a nice buffer in here.
Realizing that they do want this money, they'll want it less when they check what's under this spot.
Now, with Sphere Zero providing not much except ether right now, I mean, how powerful are bombs going to be in the opening stages of this match?
if it's anything like yesterday's, quite or the last seed, quite powerful. That seed was rough when it came to where your weapons were. They were all in like the back end of Thieves Town. The big key was like somewhere else. Like it was a crazy seed actually for weapons. Oh, okay. That was a lot of spike rollers. Oh, boots. Hey, those are boots.
Very well, it is a speed run after all. This is a race. Want to go fast.
I wouldn't be surprised if Furaime tries to go up them. No, you can't really do the old man cave, honestly, without yeah. You can't really do old man cave like without a lamp in this seed.
Well, just, I mean, imagine you running into something big and nasty in the dark. You don't even know what's
that's
coming.
Big.
Hey, book! So with Book and Boots, we will completely have access to Desert Palace. And now I believe that all of the first 3 dungeons were crystals, if I remember correctly.
What? What do you do there? Huh? I have no idea what Furaime just did. Oh, he hit the guy. Oh, I see. There's a guy that you can hit. You know, they're like, hey, why'd you hit me? And they give you something. That spike roller is lost.
Thankfully, it's staying on that side of the room.
Wow, poor spike roller doesn't know where it is. Thief trying to steal your stuff. And oh, that's those guys even bombable? I don't know. Oh, right, yeah, so this is the hardest part. This is actually where the most soft lock potential happens, is enemies just literally not being killable, like with your equipment. So these mold arms are taking 2 bomb shots instead of 1. So that's already pretty rough.
Thankfully, though, with the Helmasaurs, you can actually just knock them into the pit and achieve
right.
Seconds.
This is actually pretty rough, though. So, like, in theory, what could happen is that you only have access to 10 bombs, and then, like, enemies in an enemy locker room could, like, actually require more than 10, even with, like, perfect hits. But very rare.
Thankfully, our players are going to be rewarded with the lamp after this, so now at least that climb up to Death Mountain not quite as scary as it was once upon a time.
Another big thing to add to that is that with the lamp, they can, in theory, go fight Lanmolas. Now, Lanmolas does require at least one other item. Also, Furaime being the only one to check escape back end. Ooh, that mold arm. Glan has to be careful. Only 1 heart. Oh, this is not where you want to be with two of the bullies. Oh, chain shops.
Remember those? Yeah, here they are.
Ah, spooky. Those chain chomps are spooky places. Ooh, just money at Ice Rock Cave. 3 of our runners baited. Furaime doing very different things.
Definitely paying off though.
One thing that you want to do is that if you are gonna fake flip, you want to do it before Agenum. If you think you might have to do Agenum, because he just killing him changes the world. Okay, that was close. And most enemies are not affected by the water. The only enemies that are actually affected by the water are ones that are programmed to be inside of the water. So all the other ones just treat the water as land.
Furaime gonna have a very fun time with this last enemy. These little crawlers are very difficult to pin down. Leslie, meanwhile, going to give us a peek into Saha's closet. Going to find a full heart, piece of heart, and silver arrows. Be nice when we find a bow to go with that.
Oh, he got him!
So far seeing a very major route divergence in and amongst our runners. Furaime opting with the book, obviously, to do Desert Palace. And then Leslie Pro going over to Eastern, finding the silver arrows, going to come in very handy. And Brewers making the jump up to Death Mountain. So all of our runners going in very different directions.
Mm-hmm. Now, with the Moon Pearl, what Glan is doing makes sense. Yeah, we have everyone in a different spot. This is RIP trackers. Now, Furaime doesn't have the lamp yet, so it's unfortunate. Love number 2, though, is in Desert. That's a big deal, actually. That means that Dark World is accessible for Furaime. So Furaime did the correct route, honestly, by the looks of it. Now, the only thing you need to beat, what's it called? Boss in Eastern is a sword. So it's actually possible to be forced to do that in Enemizer. Also, 1 wrong move and Glan gets killed.
Yeah, so this part going to be very nerve-wracking for him, although he will get a chance to route all of these locations together.
Oh, and that's a rod! That's a fire rod! There's a weapon.
I think that was a fire rod, but these pallets make calling this a little bit difficult. Now, looks like Glan has a boomerang. He's just checked the back of escape, it looks like. Meanwhile, actually, no, Glan is getting ready to check the back of escape. And Leslie Pro going to be finishing out Eastern Palace.
And then we have BrewersFan checking escape. I think that's the worst option with what he has.
Furaime here will get the lamp, because remember, the lamp is in that first chest in Mini Moldorm Cave.
I think that will... He'll do Dark World first. I don't know, though. I don't know where he'll go. When he gets that sword, he'll go for sure. 'Cause he has the sword. 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 He has the sword Actually, Mr. Brewer's fan got the sword.
Hopefully we get a menu check here in a little bit so we can indeed confirm if Glan does have the fire rod. I believe that it was. Yep, it was.
Ooh, Leslie Pro dying. I'm not sure if that was intentional because I wasn't looking. I just saw the flashing.
Looked like Leslie may have run into something very nasty on the way up towards the cave into Death Mountain. I believe that enemy did 4 hearts of damage. Again, just goes to show you have to be so careful in Enemizer.
So I think that fire rod essentially says that their next place that the game wants them to be is fine. You have a fire. Oh, he doesn't have magic for the fire rod. The next place that they want to be is Desert Palace because the fire rod will let them complete it.
Fire rod also a very good weapon for Landmolas.
Well,
2 shots apiece.
That's why I'm saying it's kind of logically that's fire rod can be required, as was shown in the last sea. Oh no, the last sea was just a bottle. But why is this Overworld palette different? That's just one of the options in Enemizer. One of the options that you can do in Enemizer is what you see here, which is Overworld palette change. You can also change the palettes of the enemies and the dungeons. That's kind of the basis around Chaos and Hell, is that they both mess with the colors of the dungeons and everything, so you can't even tell really where you are. Okay, Apimos is in an interesting place.
Definitely not wanting anybody to get past.
I like Furaime playing it safe, not coming in here with the fake flip, which could have caused a game over. If you get hit by anything, it's a game over. Just how it's programmed in the randomizer.
Brewer's going to be picking up his book, and that's going to start leading him down towards Desert Palace.
The reason they aren't swimming is because they use no. Oh, is that somebody else? Oh, okay.
Great, Nico. Just to touch on your point in chat, being able to walk on water right there, what the game does is if you have the Moon Pearl and you fake flipper into that vortex and you come out the other end, you go into Waterfall Cave, you come back out, the game is not sure if you're in the light world or the dark world, so you're actually able to walk on water. But you do have to be very careful because you are subject to being a one-shot.
Well, that's not why. The reason it does that is because when you have the Moon Pearl, every time you enter an light world, any overworld location, it's checked in to see what state Link is supposed to be in. So it sees you exit out, and it's like, hey, you're exiting from here to here, so you are Link, and you are supposed to be walking. That's why it does that, because it's like you're a light world Link, and light world Link walks. Because that transition is not a swim transition. There's a little ledge there, so it makes you stand. The reason, and Moon Pearl is the only thing that would cause the game to have a reason to check that. That's the logic behind it. This game is decently programmed. No, that's a lie. It's not. Just don't let anyone tell you this game is well programmed. Dancing with these vultures is unfun. Yeah, there's 3 now. Was the water walking trick only recently discovered? No. It's just only useful because of randomizer. There's pretty much no glitch that was found just because of Randomizer.
So it appears that most of our runners have actually, despite the major route divergence, knitted pretty well back together. Glan, Brewers, and Leslie, all in Desert Palace, all within a stone's throw of each other, and Furaime now going to check the bottom of Escape, going all the way down to Zelda Cell, and then what do you expect the next play to be after that for Furaime?
I'm surprised he hasn't gone to Dark World yet, but he's just being very thorough, it seems. Like, he has the necessary means to go. I guess there's so much he can do. Also, yes, the fixed versions of this game are quite fixed. There's significantly less bugs. These stupid shadow guys are the worst, actually. Now, you can beat Lamolis with just the Fire Rod, but you need at least 6 pips of magic, and you need to use 2 pips to get into his room, and there's like 2 magic pots you can get there, like nearby him. So, nearby them. So it is something to consider. That should be something that Glan might decide to do here. Try to do this dungeon in one shot.
Looks like we've got pendants in Skull Woods and Thieves Town. Didn't catch the rest of them. And Leslie being our first player into the Dark World, if I've been following correctly. Looks like Leslie finding a sword in Skull Woods in addition to a piece of a heart. So now we know the location of 2 swords. So as soon as Leslie makes the climb up Death Mountain, they will have Master Sword.
Furaime might try to beat Moth. I don't know though.
Well, with finding the sword in the Gibdo room when he gets around there, I mean, you can beat Mothula with fighter sword spins. It's not fun, but it is indeed possible. And Furaime will find that sword here just in a minute.
Well, you could also just kill him with fire rod shots. Was that the bow? I couldn't tell. Are you okay, buddy? Poor pig. Oh, poor guy was stuck between those 2 bumpers. Didn't know what to do. Ah, Lionel!
Not exactly good placement for that Lionel either. Too easy to get sniped.
Enemizer in a nutshell. Ah, Lionel's!
Leslie giving us a dip into Thieves Town here, finding a heart in the first chest, and at this point, you definitely want the survivability. And if that wasn't enough for you, you've got the pokies in there too. And now that's a bow. Leslie finding a bow in the second chest of Thieves Town. We'll take the death here, but very glad to have that bow now, because it also has the silver arrows to go with it.
Thieves Town can be pretty brutal. You don't really realize how many enemies there are until... didn't he already get this chest over here? What's he doing? Oh no, he didn't. No, yeah, he did. Where is he going? This is not the... What? I don't know where he's going, but he's definitely taking the long way. Very interesting.
Might be a little gun shy of those pokies up there too. It looks like those things were especially brutal this time around. And chain chomps to boot. Oh god, this is a bad place.
At least those stalls went down. And snap. No, he didn't get snapped. The Hellway is where it truly, ooh. BrewersFan dying before getting the bow. Furaime doing, in my opinion, the correct thing, and that is collecting as much stuff on the overworld before tackling dungeons. And I consider Skullwoods as part of the overworld. Oh, I think we are going to see somebody attempt Moth?
Looks like Glan's gonna give it a go.
Very least checking the chest here. Nope, he's going for it. Well, let's see how this... I don't... Oh no, not after you taking 2 hits. I don't remember what's in his bottles though, so maybe he's just very confident.
One thing to be thankful about, at least there are not 4 Gibdos in this hallway.
That's true. Although he probably could have done that without killing those guys, just tighten them around. But to each their own. And he is gonna try this. This is gonna be pretty risky. In Enemizer, the boss rooms are shut off, which is nice. Oh, I thought he stole the key because he went straight for the key. I was like, oh.
That'd be a new one.
Oh, that Lionel. Please don't shoot us while we're in the pit.
But with 4 hearts on Mafia and only about a third of a magic bar, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, as you can see, there's no conveyor belt. It's just because oh, and we didn't even get customized boss sprites. Oh, feels bad. So yeah, there is no conveyor belt in Enemizer. That's just because when you do end up shuffling other bosses, it would like cause so many issues. Just like the other bosses would like break with the conveyor belt.
Looks like Glan just opting to take his time, although down to 1 heart.
Yeah,
oh, he has a blue. He's got a blue. He's okay.
I was pretty sure he had a blue. There we go. Moderate height from Cave. What did Cave have? I missed it. Oh, looks like we got Master Sword, so it must have had a sword. And green pendant for Glan. Interesting to opt in to do that. Mirror in height. Thank you. Master was at Stumpy.
That means we know the location of 3 swords now. Old Man has 1, Stumpy's got 1, and there's 1 in Skull Woods.
Oh, doesn't have a sword yet. Oh, wait, what? He just bounced? Okay, never mind.
Leslie going with ether strats here. I love it. It looks like Furaime is going to be the first to get Tempered Sword here. Going to be grateful to have the enhanced offensive power for sure. Meanwhile, Leslie going to be finishing up Blind here momentarily. Gets him down.
Yeah, navigating this Thieves Town is a little rough. There's a lot going on here.
Now, Furaime here going to be going up to Tower of Hera, which, again, I believe is a crystal, and will end up being the first crystal that our runners will get. Opting to check Ether Tablet first, and we'll be getting the Cane of Samaria. Right, a very good find.
Well, that's got to be progression, at least. It's very rare. I haven't seen progression in Ether Tablet in a while.
Now, taking stock up here in Tower of Hera, now obviously we only got one more item left that we can find. If you're running in this, what are you hoping to find if you're Furaime here in Tower?
Hammer? Then I can check. Then I can do Turtle Rock. Actually, I'd probably want hammer. Hammer or hook shot to check more things on the mountain. That's what I'm looking for. Hammer would let you check, like, I guess he doesn't have a medallion, so we need, like, I want a hammer or a hook shot so I can check East Death Mountain. Hook shot would be best because you can check hook shot cave. So yeah, definitely looking for hammer or hook shot.
Now this chest, logically, of course, has to be the big key. So we'll get a chance to see as we climb up the tower. Only 3 more chests remaining as we go up. Leslie, meanwhile, giving us a trip into Hype Cave again. Going to get his mirror.
Leslie check in Bamos? No. Okay, I thought that's where he was going for a second.
Might actually be going to check Cave 45.
You mean Mirror Ledge south of Grove? Because Cave 45 is a name that doesn't make sense to half the people. The first time I heard that, I was so confused. We need a better name for this cave.
But Cave 45 is so nice. South Cave below Kakariko Village that can only be accessed by the mirror. It's hard to put on the side of a coffee cup.
South of Grove.
Okay, we can go with that.
Yeah. Cave 45 doesn't make sense to most people. So confusing. I've played this game for 15 years, and the first time I heard that was in commentary once. So confused by it. I just thought that we named everything based on what the tracker, what's that tracker? Crossbot's tracker said. That's why we call Stumpy Stumpy.
Let's get Stumpy at least makes a little sense.
Furaime seems slightly confused.
Well, not finding your hookshot or your hammers, so unable to check any more of Death Mountain. So, okay, you strike out on both of those items. Now what's going through your head if you're Furaime?
Well, progression is going to be somewhere else, obviously. Doesn't have the bow, so Thieves Town they need to get to. Bow will open up Eastern.
And for Peli, for making a point, it was called Cave 45 because, now correct me if I'm wrong, that's in the game itself. It of course numbers every location, and that cave is just known in the code as Cave 45. I believe that's where the name came from. Of course, I could be wrong.
It sounds about right. Still doesn't make sense, in my opinion. But we do have Furaime. Gonna have a lot easier time with Mothula.
Well, with level 3 sword and fire rod with a full tank of magic, yeah, that is one dead moth at this point. Oh, okay, thank you, Slavity Slab. I actually did not know that, so it's actually from Ian Albert's maps. So, like you said, blame him.
Interesting fact that the optimal fight against Moth takes about 4 seconds, and you can do it every single time if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, just on a personal note, Mothula and I do not have a good history, so I always get a little bit happy when I see somebody murder this boss. Leslie going to be getting their Bacon Blade, the Ketchup Claymore.
Check-in pedestal is just chump change.
Rip your pedestal seed. So sorry. Try next time. Now, interestingly, Furaime, making the Sahasrara play, does not have the bow, although that doesn't, strictly speaking, mean anything as far as the completability of Eastern Palace, now does it? Because you do have other options to kill him.
Right, but the red eye doors aren't there anymore. Usually.
Yes, we will find out momentarily if they are indeed still there, but because of Enemizer, most people think you need the bow to kill Armos Knights. You don't, but normally you do need them, like Zelna said, to kill the red Igors in front of them, because they only take damage from arrows. However, Enemizer, you may not have red Igors.
You do still need the bow to get through Pod, though. And yeah, that's it. Just to get to Helmasaur, that's the only time it's required. Because that statue is not an enemy, it's a just a thin trigger. Also, sometimes red eye doors take damage from things that aren't bows in Enemizer seats. So I just noticed this is our tamest Enemizer in terms of like everything. The enemies aren't recolored. Some enemies are bugged and get recolored because of that, but
Some people thinking if this is tame, they hate to see one that's a little bit wilder.
Well, try seeds where the bosses can be randomed enemies as well.
Go in the chicken house. Oh, hey, it's Mothula. Now, it looks like Glan here is going to go and check Bumbo's tablet in the desert, so we'll get a little bit of new intel here as far as what we can find. Just bombs.
So boss shuffle is an option on Enemizer, correct? It is a fun option on Enemizer, by the way.
I remember the first time I ever ran Enemizer. It was that seed that Willard created for us, and neglected to tell anybody that he had randomized bosses as well. Oops.
Nope, I don't think that's happened yet. Pretty sure he's always made it. It was always in the schedule. I don't think he's ever misled on what a seed is. People just didn't read. Or he changed it like the day before. I can't think of a time that he ever surprised us with a seed. Although that would be funny. It wouldn't get a lot of people though, regardless, because they'd be too scared. These shadows are honestly the worst enemy in Enemizer. They're very annoying. Oh, what is this room?
Fun is what it looks like. And by fun, I mean not fun.
That high knots took a lot of health off. Oh, it would have really sucked if they didn't have a way to stun that cucumber man.
Furaime giving us the rare bowless Armos.
Mm-hmm.
Opting to use a combination of Bacon Blade and Fire Rod shots.
Not as rare as you think if you play Entrance. Oh! Gets it without having to waste time on the other phase. Good job. That's another pendant, though. Chirp?
Leslie making a very interesting play here, going to the single the dark room chest in the middle of Escape.
Well, this should sometimes happen. Oh, there's a lot of enemies there. That's some Beemoses. Leslie doing Adrenaline? guess doesn't want to search any other part of the overworld for Hammer. He's going to assume Hammer's on the east side. What? This is so weird, and I guess sure.
Well, let's take stock real quick. Are there any other places, logically, without doing Aga, that the hammer could be?
A flute. We haven't found Hookshot. I mean, we're seeing Furaime do some things, but maybe this is correct. But he hasn't done all these things, so I'm very confused. Like, very interesting decision.
Fear I'm only finding a red rupee on Graveyard Ledge, so nothing there.
I feel like there's a lot we could do, but maybe not.
And this may just be a good gamble to make, and if it ends up that the hammer is indeed locked behind Aga, then this will be a very good play.
Has anybody actually checked Green Pendant?
No, I don't believe so.
No, Furaime must have. Furaime's trying to do, is actually doing a fate flip to the other side of, what's it called? Yeah, Furaime's doing a fate flip to, the other side of the lake, which is, probably better play. So, the way that this works is you, I think that's what he's doing. So he basically, you have to dash alongside the alongside any hole in the overworld, and then you want to jump in the water. You can't jump down any ledge except for the water while you do this, and then you basically step to the other side. But you need the boots to do it. So right here, he should water walk. Yeah. All that requires is that you dash inside of a hole, but don't fall into it. And now we're on the other side of the lake without doing Aga.
Interesting. That's actually one I never had heard of. And Leslie maybe not knowing that is a thing.
It also doesn't feel like it would be worth a lot of time, but it kind of is. Although you kind of have to now do everything in one shot, because it is doing this twice would not save time. Now the only thing that could happen is that Hammer is at Fat Fairy, and then it's required. Can that actually happen? No, because Pod has 5 sets. So if Pod wasn't 5/6, I wonder if Furaime would have done Aga anyway. Because with Pod being 5/6, Hammer can't be at Fat Fairy. Because Hammer is still required to beat the turtles. Oh, I guess the turtles might not be there.
Well, but to get...
Oh yeah, right. There's those little hammer guys. You're right.
Yeah, to get down to King Helmasaur, you do indeed need the hammer.
So Hammer's probably in pot. Furaime still doesn't have the bow.
Oh, did Glan check Ped? Because he just did a blind pull, I think, and found Couch Cash.
Oh.
Interesting. But the fans will love that one. Somebody pulled it.
That's actually kind of interesting that the 3 dungeons that they could beat before Ped was actually like old pedestals. I guess Hera's an option too. All these runners are in such different spots.
Only a big 20 on the side of a pyramid, so nothing good there, but we will get a peek inside Pod from Furaime.
It'll probably be flippers or hammer. Or hookshot. Hookshot would be weird. Hookshot would mean that you could go back to the other side of the lake, and then... Yeah, this is a weird seed.
And yes, Sagara, Everybody has lots of money here. I'm finding mushroom in the first chest of pods, so it's going to have to go do right side now. What would normally be the bow lock section, but is not strictly speaking bow lock this time around. At least not that we know yet.
How did Furaime get to pod? Furaime got to pod with the Fate Flipper glitch, or specifically the Jesus Watt glitch.
And that's because the bow was in Thieves Town, and Furaime has not gone to Thieves Town.
Which still confuses me. If Hammer is at Fat Freddy, I don't think that there are any minor glitches that will save you from that.
Glan getting a well-deserved rest down in the penalty box. Brewer's going to be going over to check Bombo's tablet. Only going to find bombs at Bombo's. Leslie going to be making their run up to pod. Oh, and this is this is an interesting enemy location. Oh, that's gonna stink. That is a very troll location for that super trap. Nothing to do though but get back up there and try it again.
Enemizer can sometimes lead to some interesting requirements. Like this thing here. And you're like pressured by this stupid like thing running away. Oh, that's so rough. Don't pick up the fake Master Sword. Even as a joke.
That will cost you some time. Leslie, meanwhile, finishing up the right side, what was formerly bow-locked, but is not bow-locked. Sure, I'm going to go down and check the Harmless Hellway.
Poor Hammer, yep, can't do it here. That's the bid key. Yeah, and without the bow, Furaime can't actually beat this dungeon.
Oh, dead rocked.
Wow, what a spot to get dead rocked. Bow was in Thieves Town's second chest, which is defended by a pokey.
Let's take a look to see what's here. Hook shot. There's our progression.
Yeah, that's bid progression. Hammer probably is on Death Mountain. Chirp,
Now,
chirp.
since Leslie did go to Thieves Town at first, they will have the bow, so they will be able to single dip all of Pod. Furaime now going back up Death Mountain, going to give us a peek at what's on the right side of things. And with the Titan's Mitts, going to be able to completely check all of it. Plus, give us a peek at what's going to be required to get into Turtle Rock. The Scots, they're asking me, who's my favorite Disney princess? All of them?
I've seen Glan take on Ada. No, Leslie did all of Ada Tower. It's Furaime who skipped the Ada Tower run now. Once they find the hammer, because now they have the hook shot, which is the progression there, so. Oh, flute, that's big.
That is very big.
That's Meyer next on the docket for sure.
Now, a very interesting question that was brought up in chat earlier. Furaime's finding all of these progression items. How long do you think they're going to put off going to Thieves Town and finding the bow?
Well, the bow's completely not required by the seeds, so it really doesn't matter. They don't need the bow to win. So why would they ever go to Thieves Town, a Pendant dungeon?
Well, what about to get to the bottom of Pod?
I don't think... Oh, I guess they will need it for that, but they can just check that any time. I forgot that Pod is a Thanks chat.
Leslie finding their hookshot and opting to dip out of Pod? Oh, wait, they haven't done Eastern Palace yet, so they're going to go polish off those Armos Knights and then come back. But this is a very, very interesting play because I believe that was only the blue pendant? I don't think it was a green pendant.
Nope. Green pendant is in the Stallwoods.
Then yeah, this is a very interesting play on Leslie's part.
There's still an item there.
Ah, that's true. And Magic Terra, I will give it to you. Thank you so very much, chat. We really appreciate you guys keeping us honest and helping a couple of old farts like us call this race.
Oh, Death Mountain had the flute, and that was it. Not checking. Doesn't have any medallions to check the Turtle Rock.
This is very interesting. Possibly going to route a hookshot cave check-in when they come back for Turtle Rock. But heading back towards Kakariko, so maybe Furaime figuring out, hey, I bet there's something in Thieves Town I need to get. Plus one to unlock their flute.
Okay, so we've got Another runner going to pod, so trying to find progression for Glan. Furaime still not going to Thieves Town. I feel like he's taunting us at this point. But again, it is a pendant, so just trying to avoid the pendant dip.
I understand that, but good lord, Furaime, there's Bo in there!
Gonna do Batman, which is sweet. Got the mirror. You can do it. And it's got what for us today? Oh, just a single arrow.
Bruce Wayne's last will and testament. Here, take this arrow. Will do you well. That's true, Ek. Maybe trying to drop a subtle hint about Furaime really needing to go back to Thieves Town for that bow.
You can't get mad at him for not giving you the item when you're the one avoiding the dungeon.
Now, it looks like BrewersFan also going to be making the run towards Aga, maybe not being aware of the fake flippers glitch.
And that has saved Furaime a bit of time. Where was Ether?
Ether was bottle vendor, right? Chat, help an old man out.
Maybe it was also in Thieves Town? Oh, it was bottle vendor. What weird items for Furaime to miss? Golden, though.
And I can't believe it's butter. The margarine mincer. I don't know, that's all I got. Oh, Cyclone, don't worry. Shed had butter.
And Ether is the medallion required. Furaime actually does have Ether too, so guess I was just mistracked.
Well, to be fair, this is a lot to keep up with, and shout out Star Trackers for doing what they can to keep up with this, because this has been rather difficult to track, especially with the big divergence in routes. So a shout out again to them for doing what they do, because I couldn't do it.
This one can get pretty weird in Enemizer.
You can see that, although Furaime making liberal use of that fire rod.
Well, getting rid of the red jellies made sense. Pedestal was checked, it's just chump change. It was even pulled by one of our runners.
And shoutouts to Glan for making us very happy with the ped pool.
The different colors are purely because it's one of the options in the randomizer. Or in the Enemizer, I should say.
And Dasquacken, yes, Furaime did Eastern Palace without having the bow because there was no red Igor to block the Armos room. And Armos is killable without the bow. Usually the block is the red Igors you cannot kill without the bow. But since they weren't there, don't have to worry about it. And that's okay, because trust me, this stuff it's a lot going on. And again, shoutouts even just to our runners for being able to keep up with a lot of this.
Furaime quite low on magic. Found the bid key though. So logically that means that the second chest there is a small T. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that might be wrong. It might be the other way around. That if there's some weird logic involving P's in this part of the dungeon. I'm pretty sure that bid key there means that it has to be a small T. It's some weird logic. Meyer's logic is very weird and convoluted because you can soft lock yourself pretty easily in this dungeon. So they had to make the keys logic really tight. Okay, looks like Leslie is also headed to Meyer. Gonna be rewarded with golden. Well, the small T there means vanilla bid key. That's what it is. I knew that there was some relation with keys. I can't remember 100% if it's the other way around as well. Yeah, Dan, you are watching the Link to Past Randomizer dailies put on by Speed Gaming. Just a community building event. It's not part of any tournament or anything like that. It's just for fun. Everyone's welcome and free and encouraged to join.
Don't be scared seeing this. It gets easier after the first few times you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Meyer's medallion was ether, by the way.
So yes, that's the only one we got, and they're inside of it.
And I don't believe we know Turtle Rock as of yet. Unless I missed something. Now, Glan might give us a peek and see what Turtle Rock is.
How are the 4 streamers chosen? Completely random. 4 people who have audio and no voice. Have game audio, no voice. That's the only requirement. They all take complete newbies, veterans, anyone. But the most consistent way, if you want to be on stream for whatever reason, is to just play in one of the tournaments that are listed below the channel, listed below the stream. They're all completely free to enter. Brand new players are always show up.
Well, and certainly do not be scared if you feel that your skill level is not that of some of the people in the tournament. The idea is that it's meant to be fun, and we have had people that have made very vast improvements over the course of a tournament. So maybe a good way to sharpen your skills. And just shout out to the community as a whole. This has been a very supportive community to be a part of. I can speak to that personally from me being a fairly late comer to Rando. So, it's a very good community. So, very helpful. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm very happy to be a part of this community.
Furaime still without a bow, so I'm going to fight this boss just the way you're intended to, with a sword. It's some crappy equipment.
Thankfully, those butter slashes make pretty short work.
And there's the hammer.
Hey, look at that.
Furaime just has to make their way. That's big. Just needs the bow and the ice rod. Oh, and the flippers. Jeez, there's a lot missing. Huh. Well, we'll find them all eventually. Oh, yeah, we haven't done this yet. This has been available for a while. Nobody's done Lamolus, but this has actually been an option for a very long time for these runners. If this has progression of some kind, that'll be very interesting. If it has flippers, that means that aggro was not required. Just as an FYI. But maybe the other two items were already found in this dungeon and I just miscounted. Still though.
Guess we'll find out shortly, although if it is an item progression-wise, if it's not flippers, it'd have to be the ice rod.
Yeah. Oh, mimic. Interesting.
Please.
Close relative to the Hydra that's usually there. Oh, we have two runners now doing desert. Seriously, if this is flippers, this is hilarious. Please be flippers. Oh, okay, yeah, there's no item. Darn.
Just
Flippers
a sandy burrito.
Flippers would have been hilarious, just because of the circumstances of this seed. Hammer was on Vitreous.
Now, with Turtle Rock being Ether Medallion as well, flippers actually very well could be in Turtle Rock, couldn't they?
It could. But it looks like we're gonna see Furaime fake flip. So this is the reason. This might seem weird, but the reason is that they're gonna full clear this to narrow down where the flippers could be. Because if they find bow here, then they know where it isn't, right? So it's not the best plan, but in this case, just again the bow. Just go get the bow. Nobody's actually killed Helmasaur either. Which makes sense because the hammer's odd position. I seriously wonder why Furaime hasn't gone into Thieves Town.
Maybe, like you said earlier, just trying to avoid going into a Pendant dungeon unless absolutely necessary. Want to chase down those other leads first.
I guess it's just seems aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive is entertaining to watch.
Aggressive hatred of a dungeon.
Cyclone, just to reiterate, bow is indeed required because pod is a crystal. You have to use it on the statue to get down to Helmasaur King. Oh, no, I got you. Okay, yes. Generally speaking, the bow may not necessarily be required, but in this particular seed, it is indeed required.
Okay. Leslie Pro is gonna leave and then go do Lamolus.
Glan going to be making his dive into Meyer. Going to be very happy when he gets to the end and finds Hammer.
And that was some whiz ropes.
Very interesting hockey team that Furaime is showing us now.
Okay, so wonder if we're gonna see BrewersFan do Turtle Rock.
Can't quite just yet because it doesn't have the hammer. At least I don't think.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. Oh, this is actually fairly linear. Somewhat. This we always had the option to go straight to. Like for a long time, Agile was an option, so this team does like to smash Agile in your face.
Furaime heading up to the vanilla big key chest, finding a small key there instead. It looked like there was a Wallmaster in the room that normally has 2 Stalfos Knights, so kind of got to be careful with Wallmasters in this place.
So all of our runners again doing somewhat different things. 4 different locations.
A nightmare to keep up with, but it does show you the vast number of ways that you can approach this game.
Leslie Pro going back to pod.
Well, with the hammer in tow, going to be able to completely take care of Helmasaur King. Also, that is the last 5/6 crystal that Leslie needs, so maybe thinking of Fat Fairy play after this. Looks like Furaime going to be heading down to Cold Stare. Hopefully they have a bottle of some kind. Yep, Furaime has a bottle. Why did I even doubt? We're good. And with butter, Cold Stare is going to be turned into gelato here pretty quickly.
Yeah, he doesn't last very long against the butter.
Butterscotch ice cream, anyone? Going up to the mountain cave. I wonder. Furaime's still really not wanting to go to Thieves Town. I'll probably take a gamble on Turtle Rock.
Trying to think on like Flippers could be at Turtle Rock and then I don't even know anymore. This is so weird.
Opting for Spike Cave. This is interesting. Finding the Quack Medallion. Glan, meanwhile, picking up his hammer. Yes, hungry, hungry Hippo Man, that bacon coin, the tastiest of all coins. Stocking up on blue potions, putting that massive money pool to use. And yes, J-Man, I'm with you. I'm thinking Flippers are going to have to be in Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, if they are, that means that Furaime is going to put off Thieves Town just that much longer.
Leslie Pro checking for Ice Rod at Pyramid, which is interesting.
Yes, we'll finally get to see what the Pauladine Fairy has.
And it is nothing as usual.
There's the heart and the shield.
TR might have both Ice Rod and Flippers. That would be funny. I seriously wondered if Furaime forgot. Like, I doubt it. They're very good at this game. It's just almost how it feels like.
Well, again, having committed this long to not going into Thieves Town and trying to stay out of Pendant dungeons, you know, and they've already done 2, so maybe thinking, God, I really don't want to have to do a 3rd one. Leslie going to validate their run here real quickly.
And there's the Flippers.
There you go, folks.
So Ice Rod might, though, Ice Rod being in Swamp would be Furaime's best, like, hope? Because then, like, the double dip's required. They're gonna have to full clear it anyway. And they still need to find those that darn bow in Thieves Town. And that's a rip for Glan.
Yes, if Ice Rod is on Laser Bridge, that would actually bode very well for Furaime, meaning only one trip required.
No, again though, they're gonna full clear swamp after this, so their best opportunity is ice and swamp. So that they're at least searching and get an item that everyone else needs to search for. Because the bow being at Thieves Town is just a huge like distraction. So I think it's actually best if Ice Rod is in swamp. Because then they're not full clearing a dungeon that nobody else is. I just don't know what's gonna happen when they finish swamp and they still don't have the bow.
Well, at this point, if they finish swamp and don't find the bow, just looking at everything, I think that Thieves Town has to be top of the list at that point.
Yeah.
And Hungry Hippo Man making a very good point. The bow is the second chest, I believe, in Thieves Town, so at least it'll be a quick dip.
Mm-hmm. So we just gotta hope. Oh yeah, the fire bars changing here actually made this room a lot easier.
One less distraction to deal with.
Why is Leslie going to Moth? That's a great point. Allergic to Thieves Town. Sorry, allergic to Turtle Rock probably. Oh, check in the. Oh. Oh, we've known that for a while. Okay, Ice Rod is at Swamp.
Yep, nothing on Laser Bridge.
Everyone's gonna have to double dip. So again, I think that's a good thing.
Certainly going to be a good equalizer for Furaime, that way not getting penalized for putting off getting the bow so late. And testament just to Furaime's execution otherwise for not having the bow and still being in very good running on this race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did not have the IRC up. How many runners did we have in this race to start with?
Oh, I have no idea. I could. It'll be a bit to check. It doesn't look like many, like roughly 30, I'm guessing, based on the list. Looks like we got a forfeit or two.
All in this seed, very frustrating. You can see, and Enemizer, especially if you're not familiar with it, can be very difficult at first. Especially if your strengths tend to be more towards routing and less towards adapting on the fly for combat and such.
It's just a reminder for people. Pod is Pod can't be soft locked anymore, as far as we know. As of current logic, there is no soft lock. Somebody in the race chat thought it at one point.
Furaime finding that soggy burrito.
Still think Furaime has a chance to win this, just based on where he is right now. We're still looking for the ice rod though. Leslie Pro needs to go to Pod to get the flippers to get the ice rod, I think. Find something really weird. I'm pretty sure that's the line.
Yep, it's gonna be a mandatory double dip on Pod or the Turtle Rock.
Oh, I guess shovel.
Ooh, that's a very good point.
I wonder why you fade flipper to ice palace unless you think it has ice rod. Well, you fade flipper to palace to like, if it has progression, then you know what doesn't. Like, I guess with his current situation, it's less. Yeah, I don't know. Glan's option to do it is less. Makes less sense than the other one. Nope, still no ice rod. Furaime is the one to. Oh, have we not seen Spike Cave?
We have seen Spike Cave.
Oh.
I think Furaime did it, and I don't think it was anything of any
Also,
value.
yeah, we don't have. Well, I guess Blue Cane is in logic. So.
Actually, no, it was the Quake coin. Not of value necessarily, not needed, but it's shiny. Furaime heading to the very back of Swamp. 4 chests in fairly quick succession here.
Well, if you're ever late to a race you want to watch, you can always check the VODs on youtube.com/speedgaming.
I think that was a rod, wasn't it? Wasn't that the ice rod?
I think so. Looks like we would be in go mode if Furaime was literally any of the other racers.
So that means we're in no mode. We know where to go for go mode. But right now we just know.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we are not in go mode.
Where are the enemies in this room? Maybe they're turned off? just noticed that there's no enemies in that room. Whoa, okay, what happened to... Okay.
Alright, Argus, coffee break's over. Time to go.
Argus, get yourself together, man. What was that?
Argus probably wondering why is all the water gone.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, again, Enemizer turns off the boss arena functions. And that's just because without having those turned off, it would cause problems with the boss shuffle mechanic.
Now, let's find out. Surely to God, Furaime is going to think to go to Thieves Town. Is there anything that you would otherwise check if you're Furaime?
I mean, Trinets himself.
Oh God, you're right.
You could do that. I mean, hopefully he remembers he hasn't gone to. So like, this is the test. Like, I'm still unsure if he forgot or what.
Brewers, meanwhile, are letting me pick up that other cane, the cane we don't talk about as much. I think Furaime knows now where they need to go. Meanwhile, Glan giving us yet another helping of butterscotch ice cream. So tasty. Even had a scoop for us.
Looks like he's going to Thieves Town.
There you go. That's the spot. Oh, maybe you can make one quick little detour.
Hammerpad. Okay. Please go to Thieves Town, man. Please go to Thieves Town, my dude.
You know that town with all the thieves in it? Yeah, go there.
Nope, what
are you doing?
We forgot we didn't check something.
Furaime, what are you doing?
Oh,
God. Is he gonna go do Trinex?
Yep.
He's gonna go do Trinex. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's been obvious from like very early on he forgot he didn't do Thieves Town. So this is not very surprising. It's just surprising that Furaime forgot. So it's kind of a whatever. This kind of thing happens. Well, guys, you don't do Trinets. You always attempt to do Thieves Town last. Like that's just like, or sorry, Turtle Rock last. You always do Turtle Rock last. So like making the conscious decision to kill Trinets first for a gamble when you haven't done any of Thieves Town, I'm pretty positive he's just forgotten.
That's true. We will have to ask him when interview time rolls around.
He's really not that far ahead. Like the runners all have to double dip, but
The one upshot, though, with Butter Sword, I mean, Trinex is not going to live long. I mean, and he's already gone through here once, so the second dip into Turtle Rock is not nearly as long as the first. So, I mean, this is... He'll come through this in pretty short order. It's such a shame because, I mean, he was right there in Thieves Town. But, of course, you know, we know that because we can see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, right, but when you've cleared, like, when you've cleared 11 out of 12 items, spots, in one dungeon, and you're looking for one item, and another dungeon has 0 out of 8 checked, and then Turtle Rock is one of your last crystals. That's what I'm saying, chat. This is, like, it's probably that he forgot he hasn't checked it. Or he's just making a really huge gamble that just, like, I can't comprehend, like, the percentage play. Did Leslie Pro get the flippers and then just leave?
I believe so. Which, not necessarily a bad thing, because, boy, Green Tunic Turtle Rock is a very unfriendly place to be.
Yeah, it's just... Oh, lucky for him. Furaime is double dipping, that is correct. This is Furaime's second time here.
But I mean, just look, with Butter Sword, you know, you take one shot from each rod to the heads, you know, 3 swipes, the heads go down, and then the body takes, I think, 2 spins and a slash, and you're done.
No, it's Golden Sword attacks always do the same damage, so.
Okay.
It's 3 Golden Sword attacks.
In either case, it's still a very, very fast fight.
The double dip is completely mandatory. So there's no ice rod here. The flippers lock the ice rod. The flippers are here. And now we'll see if he goes straight to Thieves Town. I'll have to ask. Okay, well then he made a gamble that's just, like, unreasonably large to me. I don't even understand the idea behind that. But yes, I mean, that's why some of these people just get stupid times sometimes, and then yeah.
And yes, now he's figured it out. Now he knows where to go. Here, just in a second, we're going to have go mode.
There it is. Now we're going to go to pod.
143.53, Furaime is officially in go mode. That goest of all modes.
Nobody's done yet, though, which is a little bit surprising to me.
And Magic, Furaime did indeed get silvers. They just haven't toggled the item yet in their menu. So silvers don't automatically come up. You have to actually toggle the bow to equip the silver arrows. Actually, that's a good point. Zelmas, can we confirm if Furaime actually got silver arrows?
Yes, he did. When you pick up the bow, it resets it to normal.
That's what I thought. Brewer's about to get some heartbreak when he finds out Laser Bridge not going to pan out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No one's not done yet, correct? And we got. Oh, okay. No, I got baited. We got a forfeit, not a dot done. And another forfeit. Oh, yeah, so this is starting to take people... Yeah, this sea is pretty rough. Somebody said Ben at Ganon. I'm like, I don't even think... I just had to double check, but Ben is not in this race. Oh, Ben Teasy, I guess, maybe.
Yep, it's time, boys and girls. Get your guesses in for the Ganon's Tower Big Key. Now, because it is not a tournament race, we will not have the bot going. But,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's just about bragging rights. So put in your guesses now. Zelmas, what chest do you think it's going to be in?
I just don't wait to see for the people I know who probably have like 20 streams open, since at least 2 people are already there, so. But I don't know, I always hope for 1 or 22, because then still actually matters rather than just the luck of picking the right route for this particular seed kind of thing.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it is going to be Bob's chest, number 14.
Ooh,
Depending on
BrewersFan dying in Ice Palace, and same with Leslie Pro.
Oh, ouch. Alright, here we go. Let's count them off on Furaime's stream as we go. Meanwhile, Glan finishing up Swamp Palace, and Brewers and Leslie both still in ice.
Oh, 1!
Number 1!
And a small key. Ideal. Ideal GT.
And Furaime knows it too, so he is getting ready for a very quick climb.
Well, it is Enemizer, so... Also, what? That was some nuts laid. Guards should take damage from spikes, yes. Minimal, but they should. Well, enemy bombs are no different than regular bombs. They just are, like, able to damage you. They do literally the same thing as regular bombs.
Furaime making it through the ballroom, getting up to the first part of the gauntlet.
And then this room, pretty easy, except for these like really like high HP skeletons. Other than that, silvers allows you to dispatch most enemies. Oh, interesting room. Yeah, you definitely want to use fire rod on those two.
Swapping the fire rod for the red jellyfish. Very smart moving there, and again moving quite handily through the gauntlet.
Gold darts, which is actually just a pallet. It's actually just a pallet thing. Those aren't an actual dart type. It is some other dart that has some messed up palette. I think it's green darts under certain circumstances. Because there's only so many colors that fit onto a SNES ROM. So sometimes the game just gives colors to enemies. You can see it sometimes in post-AGA Light World. Sometimes the green guards will just be yellow if you flute from desert. And then you flute from desert to Lint's house. The green guards to the left of Lint's house become yellow because the green palette color is currently yellow. It's a very odd things can happen.
Furaime showing very good execution with the one cycle Lenmolas, getting a little bit trolled in that normal room where one Canis Samaria block takes care of it. Coming up here, gonna go ahead and opt to use Ether to take these jellyfish and bats out. Gonna move right on through the gauntlet.
Interesting thing is that jellies still die to one hook shot because they aren't. The hook shot doesn't just deal damage; it just kills them. Was that spike roller that just kind of appeared out of nowhere? I'm very confused.
Well, this is Enemizer. I think confusing is the name of the game.
I know we've had dot duns. We had Bentizi dot done. Looks like we also have Solski who finished as well. So you have two people who I would have could have predicted would have done well in this. So there's a dead hand in that ice palace. We do need that small key from that Helmasaur.
Furaime coming up to Troll Dorm 2 now. Will he validate? That's the question. Looks like he will, and just a quiver. Ooh, gotta be very careful of that wall master. Oh, that I have a feeling that's gonna cause a little bit of rage at some point tonight for somebody.
Man, wall masters in some of these dungeons that aren't intended to have them can be really bad. Because like Skull Woods, it's fine because it's just a bunch of like small areas, but end of GT Wallmaster, and it's like, well, sure. I guess I go back to the start.
Yeah, all the way down. Furaime finishing off Agatu, gonna go say hi to the big pig here in just a little bit. Glan finishing off Trinex, and he will be making the climb up the tower.
And Furaime will be fighting Ganon now.
Using dash strats on Ganon, very nice. I do have to say, Furaime's execution has been top-notch this run.
Oh.
Oh no! Oh no!
There you go.
Oh!
Glan just got a weird glitch.
Oh, Furaime taking a fall. Oh god, if that was commentator's curse, I am so sorry. I didn't. Oh.
Oh. That was also really weird because Glan lost his audio for a second at the same-ish time.
Yes, thanks for Revolving Ocelot. Yes, I appreciate you bringing that phrase back to life for us. Thank you so much.
Okay, and Furaime back on phase 3. Lost at least one position. Oh, some people lost one position to the Ganon fall at least. Oh, there's not gonna be another one after this. Yes, Andy and Christos Owen will be doing a run at GDQ.
And honestly, I cannot wait to see that. That is going to be some excellent competition right there.
Ooh, misses a torch glitch by a bit, but we'll get rewarded with a possible triple here. Yep, gets the triple. Which means he'll be done right here.
Still gonna get the sub 2-hour time. Very well played, Furaime.
Yeah, we'll see if Furaime... I don't remember if Furaime does interviews.
Meanwhile, Glan coming up to Landmola's round 2. This is the 1 cycle, may yet get the 2 cycle. This is the 2 cycle, may yet get the 3 cycle. I'm just gonna be quiet. Yeah, it's terminal. I know. The commentator's curse is strong tonight. Now, I'm not sure. Are we going to be able to get Furaime in here for an interview?
I'm asking. Yeah, it doesn't have a mic at the moment, so nope.
Oh. I'm sure Furaime will come into chat at some point, though, in which case we can all ask him some questions at that point.
We got 5 people have finished. Only 4 people finished sub 2.
Thanks, Ronnie Tuchin. I appreciate that. Jinxus shall be my name from here on out. And Furaime, with you being in chat, good game to you, man. Question I have for you. How did you feel in that seed? And what were your thoughts when you came across the bow in Thieves Town?
I just want to know why you didn't go to Thieves Town. I know what your thoughts are when you found it. I just want to know why you didn't go to Thieves Town. Okay, so you were just gambling. Good to know. As long as you knew that your gamble was dumb. I just was like, no, there's no weird metagame I'm missing here, right? This is just a dumb gamble, right? I'm not that crazy at this.
Hey, if it had paid off, it wouldn't have been a dumb gamble.
Nope, still, you can still be right and have it be a dumb gamble.
Alright, Glan working on Aga 2 now. Gets the triple. And a very nice 3-round Aga to finish him off. Now, I am not going to say one word about Glan's execution for another few minutes. Not one word, just nothing. Cyclone, if you want to comment, go right ahead, because I'm staying quiet. I'm not saying one word.
There's a decent, decently clean climb for everything that I saw. Though he is quite low on health. I hope he has a bottle. Okay, that was a little close.
And folks, this is why I'm just staying quiet.
There we go.
I've already jinxed one runner. One is enough. I've hit my quota for the week. And Ganon dying, so very good job for Glan, and I'm pretty confident he's not going to walk off the bridge at this point. So very well played to Glan. Going to go through here. Going to finish up about 2:05:11.
Fired a hair too
Oh.
soon.
Right, he didn't.
we'll see if we can get Glan in here for an interview. Meanwhile, Leslie, coming out of Swamp Palace, only has Turtle Rock left to go. Brewers fan in Turtle Rock for the last time. While we wait to see if we'll get a chance to interview Glan or not, Brewers fan making his run down towards Trinex. Again, with butter and everything else, it will go very quickly. Leslie coming up to do the final plunge through Turtle Rock. Now wait, I thought the commentator's curse didn't apply to Trinex. And there goes Trinex. Brewers will finish him off, then head on to Ganon's Tower for his climb. Leslie not too far behind, just right on his heels, about a minute or so behind. And I do believe we're going to have an interview with Glan. 1 second. Hey, Glan, how you feeling, man?
Oh, hey. It was quite a seed.
Yeah. It was quite the seed indeed. So give us some of your thoughts while you were running that magnificent piece of rando.
Well, I'm pretty glad I pulled that 5 rupees off the pedestal. That really helped the run.
Hey, made you a crowd favorite, though. I mean, chat went wild when you pulled it.
I'm sure they did. I mean, I don't know if... The reason I pulled it was because I went in to go towards Skullwoods, right? Because I had the fire rod right away. And then both Skullwoods and Thieves Town were pendants, and I was thinking, and I didn't really have access to anything else, any other dungeons, so I figured I'd just do those, and then Eastern, I got the bow, and Eastern was a pendant. Like, I might as well just pull the pedestal at this point.
Well, certainly not a
what
bad
is Brewers
thought
fan
for that,
doing?
but that's actually a really good question. I wonder if he thinks he needs the second key. Forgetting maybe that there's a key on the Helmosaurs up there. But so, Glenn, getting back to the seed real quick, what do you think was your best play during that whole seed? Like, at what point did you just feel like, man, I feel like I'm getting it, I'm in my rhythm at this point? When did that moment come for you?
That's hard to say.
Well, or an equally important question, did you ever feel that the seed was going really well? Did you ever feel that you were in a really good rhythm?
I mean, I guess towards the end, after I got the butter sword and like just it started to become a little easier to get around and stuff. Like I had to quit going to landmines really early because like I just couldn't kill the stuff. I had no bombs, no magic or fire rod. I just couldn't do anything. I guess especially after getting the hammer is when it really started to feel like it was coming together.
And how about that hammer coming on Vitreous? I mean, that must have been a pretty big surprise for you.
I was kind of starting to expect it towards the end. But yeah, for a while I couldn't even imagine where it was. It was quite something.
So I just thought I'd make an interesting point because I noticed something, and it's might confuse some people why sometimes a room with just some guards like makes the game lazier than rooms with like 8 other enemies. Guards are unique in that they project like an invisible, like very large sprite into the room. They project like a their sight, like where they get triggered to like chase after you, is a sprite. So if you ever wondered why sometimes the guard rooms are lazier than rooms that really look like they should be lazy, that's why. They actually project an invisible sprite. That's why they sometimes get really slow. Where do you get Enemizer ROMs? I can get that link for you. It might also be under !Enemizer. You have to create a ROM on the main website or an entrance. You create a ROM and then Enemize it. Here it is.
And X-Cage, to answer your question, Half Magic was actually on the torch.
In Ganon's tower?
Yes, in Ganon's tower, it was on the torch.
Well, I clearly had no reason to go there.
Well, Death0216, you will see a you'll actually see a Oko seed at the tomorrow or 2 days from now. It's this week actually. It'll be easy mode, open timed Oko, so that it's actually accessible to people. And I know it's the 8 PM slot.
It should prove to be a very fun and interesting race. Brewers opting to use the Splody coin strats, a perennial favorite.
Yeah, I did a lot of coin strats myself. Going in those rooms with the Stalfos, multiple Stalfos that take multiple tempered sword hits or something, like, no. Just die.
I don't know. Yeah, you can just walk up. You don't actually have to. That laser beam can just be beaten by just walking diagonal through that room, and you'll always beat him. It's pretty convenient actually.
Now, as we look at our final 2 runners, now bear in mind, Ganon Fall could separate these two. If Leslie executes well coming up the gauntlet and Brewers falls to Ganon, this could be a very, very tight-knit finish.
Oh, the soft light AS is another thing to avoid. You're right, Cyclone. That's a good point. Pretty hard to hit that soft lock though. Very clean. Oh no, I spoke too soon. There we go. Didn't switch to the hookshot though, so he's gonna have to wait for the boss to explode, which loses like half a second, if that. Ganon fall into Ganon is what people mean. It's just fall into Ganon loses quite a bit of time because you have to do the first 2 phases minimum over again. Sometimes part of phase 3 or 4. BrewersFan got a really, really good time to charge up there. Did get stopped by the anti-fairy, which stopped the other runners who went up here.
I know we're watching these last two come up, but I did have one more question for you, Glenn. If you were talking to somebody that hadn't really had much experience with Enemizer, and they're wanting to get into it for the first time, do you have any advice for them? Anything that you would say that, hey, if you do this, it'll help you out? You know, what would you advise a new player to do when they're looking at this and contemplating doing it for the first time?
That's tough. I don't really play a lot of Enemizer. I would say basically just try not to get like overwhelmed. Like just like try not to let it daunt you too much. Just like all the stronger enemies appearing and stuff. You kind of want to keep it together and just focus on not getting bodied too much. Sometimes it will just kind of screw you over, like the Desert Palace in this. That was horrible. Yeah, basically, especially you'd want to know a lot of like the different strats that kill different enemies and stuff, and what's effective. Especially, a lot of enemies get one hit by the hook shot or something. You'd want to know that for sure. Stuff like that.
Like I said, you put on a very good show for us tonight. So again, very well played on your part.
Thanks.
Oh, Brewer's taking a fire bat, but still in pretty good shape. And there we go. Brewer's taking out the big pig.
I'm just noticing what chirality said in chat, and I would agree with that. Not even just an Enemizer, but in general. It's very good advice.
Yeah, it's the first thing that is kind of when you learn an MG, it's like one of the first things taught in most of the tutorials is just don't fight enemies, don't pick up pick up chests in this, but it's first thing that Blunt Bunny goes over in his tutorial is like avoid killing these enemies, don't pick up those chests. Obviously, ignore the second part in Randomizer, but the first part holds true. There's lots of little time saves you can learn from NMG.
That's probably the biggest time loss I see new players do is kill things unnecessarily.
Yep.
When you can just walk right past them.
Well, and as a newer rando player, I can myself testify to the fact that sometimes it's very difficult to do. To say, don't kill everything. Just move.
That's fair.
So Leslie Pro's spinning against Ganon. Just a small aside is that spins don't do much damage again with Golden Sword, like at all. So
unfortunately, Leslie taking the death to Ganon. I'm gonna have to do this part over again.
So with the Golden Sword, it's always faster to slash because you can get more slashes in than the spin there. This is a small aside for new players who are wondering. It does do more damage with Tempered though. You should always try to get those wall spins in if you're using Tempered Sword, because then you're dealing Golden Sword damage. Very, very useful. Ooh, Ganon getting his second Ring of Fire out.
And Leslie with 5 hearts having to be very cautious.
Oh!
Here.
Leslie's just like a moment too late on those, and now you gotta contend against that Rin, and you have to be very careful. That Bombos Rin, because for people who don't know, he's essentially casting Bombos, and then somebody's echoing.
Might be me.
Yeah, so... But he actually casts Bombos and then Quake, which is a cute little thing. It's basically, or at least that's basically what he's doing. I always like that little, like, side note.
Leslie almost getting the triple. And be very careful because the torches are out of sync here. And that'll be arrow number 4. That will finish the big pig for Leslie. We'll come into the mystery time, unfortunately, because we can't see the timer, but still very well played.
According to SRL, came in at 2:21:40.
All right, so there you have it then. All of our runners finishing within about 22 minutes of each other. So well played to everybody here. I'm going to see if we can pull in Brewers and Leslie for interviews. And Corality did have a lot of good advice in the chat, and I do want to give him a very quick shout out. He is currently working on several new guides and strategies for a lot of beginner players as far as what items are needed to complete certain palaces and dungeons, what routes are the most efficient as far as showing what ways to go. And so just a great big shout out to him providing a very good resource for the community. Anything that will make this game more accessible to a lot of the newer players, definitely a good thing in my book. So again, shout outs to Corrali for all the work that he is doing in that regard.
Hello, JP.
Hi.
Good game, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a bit of a seed.
Indeed it was. How you feeling?
Well, not too bad, honestly. I definitely lost a lot of time with those early gambles, but I feel like I made up a little bit in the later game, so overall, pretty good about that. Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't... Sorry, go ahead.
Kind of curious, was I the only one that pulled the pedestal?
Yes.
Nope.
Oh, no? We had...
No, I believe Glan pulled it, didn't he?
I did.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
missed
Glan
the
pulled it.
second one.
Glan was the original crowd hype for that, finding that big nickel.
The second I saw the fire rod, I'm like, okay, this has got to be pedestal, and I went for it.
Yeah, I had a similar thought.
So I've asked everybody, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what do you think was your high point of that seed? Where did you really feel like you were in your rhythm? And where in the seed did you feel like you really weren't on your game? What were your best parts of the seed and your worst parts of the seed?
That's a good question. Definitely the worst part was right after I pulled the pedestal, because I felt really far behind after that. I knew at that point I needed to go kill Aghanim. Think about it for the best part for a second here.
Hold on, I guess a follow-up question, and I asked the same thing of Glenn. Did you ever have a point where you felt like you were really on rhythm on this seed, or did you feel like you were pretty much off rhythm the entire time?
Oh, a little bit. I mean, with these seeds you always feel a little off because the enemies just make things a lot different. So you never fully know what to expect. But at the same time, there's parts of it that I'll honestly just go a little bit better because of that. Like Death Mountain isn't as bad. There are times when the Enemizer works against you, works for you. So, give and take. So, let's see. I think I did feel like I got in a bit of a rhythm after I killed Aghanim. Because then I went to Pod, and I'm trying to remember, what did I find in Pods? What was in Pod?
I believe the hook shot was in
Yep.
Pod.
Hookshot led me up to the mountain to find the flutes, which really opened things up for me.
The hookshot, this was a very linear seed. It was just kind of step from one end to the other until that end, where you guys kind of all ended up in different directions. But it was actually pretty linear, just because there was never really a point where you had like you could go to these 3 spots and they all had a different item. It was more like, well, you could go to these 3 spots, only one of these has the item.
Yeah, I could have shaved a couple more minutes off my time if I had done Swamp before Ice. Because then I would have found the Ice Rod, I would have go-moded Ice Palace and shaved a few minutes off that way. But that's just kind of the gambles you take.
Yeah, I don't think anyone go-moded Ice Palace on stream. So, even though it was possible.
Yeah, it definitely was linearity, because after Meyer had the hammer, went up to Turtle Rock, found the flippers, and then flippers led to the Ice Rod at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I totally expected that double dip of Turtle Rock. I just wrong dungeon to do first. Not that I could do Swamp anyway.
Well, yeah, just as a reminder, there is still more dailies this week, everyone. This is a great race. It's pretty late. We should be. I don't know. I want to go to sleep. That's just me. It's pretty late here. But
Well, this has been a pretty tiring seed too, not only to watch, but I'm sure as our runners could testify, just to run. I mean, it's something that takes quite a bit out of you. So, but before we go, I just want to go around the room real quick again. Glan and Brewers, any final comments you guys have?
I've definitely appreciated these daily seeds. Like, the opens and the key sanities, they sometimes can be rough because it really shows you where you need to improve. But I like these special seeds because it's just something you just get to do that you don't get to do a lot of the other time.
yeah. Although, I mean, if you're in the main Lit to the Past Discord, you can usually pin the other roles and find someone who wants to do them. Or
True.
trick people into doing randomizers at random. Just like, hey, open seed, you just want to randomize this right here? But yeah.
Glenn, what about you, man? I know we need to wrap up here. Any final thoughts you have?
Not really. I'd agree with JP that I like these kind of off the wall modes other than entrance. I don't like entrance at all. But yeah, it's nice to get to kind of play these off the wall things that is organized. Like, I like swordless, and nobody plays swordless outside of these dailies.
That's not true. I used to see swordless pins all the time.
Oh,
You start
actually,
pinning them.
I want to take like 5 more minutes. We actually have Leslie Pro in waiting room. I want to get their thoughts real quick. So I'm sorry, we'll pull them down for an interview real quick. Leslie, good game, very well played there. How you feeling, man? If you're talking, we cannot hear your microphone.
Okay. Well, Mike was working on your stream. We knew that. So I guess what's wrong with your Discord? Guess we should wrap this up since Leslie's mic isn't working.
Oh, it's on press to talk. It's on press to talk. Oopsie.
Gotta push the big button. That's right. All right. So real quick, I mean, we do need to wrap up, but how you feeling, man? How you feeling after that scene?
Feeling like the combat gave me a bit of a beating. Routing-wise, I felt I took a couple wrong turns, but I made a couple good turns in exchange. Because I decided to do AGA 1 when I still had 2 obscure locations to check. I'm thinking halfway up the tower I'd be there by the time I got both of those done. So I just went for it. It wound up being the right call because hook shot was big chest and pod. That led to flute and Death Mountain, leading to hammer over at Misery Mire.
Yeah, it was a heck of a seed to watch. I know that much. What do you feel was your best play during the seed, and what would you say is probably your worst? And did you ever feel any balance on the seed, or did it feel like it was keeping you on your toes?
Well, an Enemizer seed will definitely keep you on your toes. There's no doubt about that. What really hurt me is that I just collected all 3 pendants thinking it could have been a pedestal seed, but when I went to check, it said just pocket change, move right along. I'm like, I just rolled my eyes knowing darn well that I made a wrong turn, but I was already too pot committed to turn back. On the plus side, though, I was happy with, after I got Flippers and Turtle Rock, I died. I decided to pull out and finish off what was down below Death Mountain, thinking, odds are, that's where we're going to have the Ice Rod, and I happened to be right, so I was happy with that play.
Oh, there you go, man. Again, I hate to eclipse your interview because I know we've cut it short, but any final thoughts on that seed? Anything you think you could have done better, or anything you're looking forward to maybe doing next time you give it a spin?
Maybe next time I give it a spin, I should, if I have an earlier chance to check pedestal, I should do that instead of clearing out all the dungeons, because that that slowed me down big time. But at least now I know what I'm looking like for an all dungeons type of situation.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, again, sorry to go. We do have to wrap this up. As far as everybody else, viewers, give these guys a follow. Glan, Furaime, Brewers, Leslie Pro. Follow all of them. They have put on a very good show for us tonight. We appreciate them allowing us to restream them. I want to give a shout out to both of our trackers, Call Me Hefe and Cyclone. Thank you guys for, it is a very difficult seed to track, so thank you all so much for your efforts. I want to give a shout out to my fellow commentator, Zelnus. I had a lot of fun commentating the seed for you. Any final thoughts from you guys? Zelnus, take us out of here, man.
Well, I just want to remind everyone that you should participate in the dailies. Don't forget about the T-Sanity tournament. Spring tournament's not announced or anything yet, so don't believe anything you read. I've seen people try to say that the T-Sanity tournament is the spring tournament. But yeah. I think that don't forget about the AGDQ run. Donate during it or before it or however you wish. That would be a good show of support to some of the runners in the community. If you're in the DC area, by the way, there is a randomizer meetup. I just thought I don't think it's been mentioned on stream, but there's a randomizer meetup planned for GDQ. So if you're in the DC area and can make it to Hemden, Virginia, then go into the main randomizer Discord, and there's some information there for how to participate in some of the events going on. You don't need to be a GDQ attendee to participate in them.
Awesome. Okay, a quick reminder too, we are going to have more dailies throughout the week. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we will have a standard Triforce hunt, 30 out of 40. 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have an open, and 11 p.m. will be a Key Sanity. Now, so far, the only one that is scheduled for a channel is going to be the standard Triforce hunt, which is going to be on Speed Gaming 1. Again, that is coming at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely want to tune into that, and, guys, thank you for tuning in to all of these runs. So have a good night, everybody, and we will see you all down the road.